Welcome to the latest virtual race briefing for the Birch challenges that are going to be happening next week at Cannock Chase. So I'm not great at keeping it brief, as those of you who have run with us before will know. So if you want to go and grab a cup of tea, do, because it's really, really important that you do listen and take in all of the information that I'm going to go through. Obviously, with COVID restrictions, these events are going to be different for a little while, and it might be something you've never done before. If you've not done any racing post-COVID, so please make sure you do listen and watch the whole of this race briefing, please. Thank you. Firstly, if you have any sort of COVID symptoms, whether that be a continuous cough, a fever, or loss of taste and smell, please do not come to the event. It's not worth it. There are other races, there are other days. Please do not come to the event. And also, if you live in a very high risk area, please follow local guidelines as to whether you should be travelling to the event as well. We just need to keep everybody safe, obviously. We've already held some post-COVID events at Southsea Forest. They went very, very well. Our new measures were easily implemented. They didn't massively detract from the event. It's a little bit different, but that's just the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. But it is going to be the first event, I think, held at Cannock Chase. So I want to make sure that we can show them how well these events can happen, so that hopefully they allow us to increase the numbers, have more events, so on and so on. So it's really important that you do follow the instructions I'm about to lay out. When you arrive at Birch's Valley, what you want to do is, rather than park as soon as you get there, you want to drive all the way up round the car park and go and park as close to the Go Ape as you can, because you're going to be using your car essentially as an aid station. Or as a supplemental aid station, I should say. So you won't be able to leave your belongings at the aid station like you normally can. So if you've got your own food or drink that you like to have with you, you need to leave that essentially in the boot of your car. So the closer you can park to the Go Ape, which is where essentially we're going to be stationed, the less time you'll lose having to go back to your car. We will have a fully functioning aid station. You do not need to bring water, so on and so on with you. We will have a fully functioning aid station, but you cannot leave your stuff at our aid station. You should have received your race number and your timing chip and a few pins in the post by now. If you haven't, it's probably safe to assume it's been lost in the post. Just drop us an email so that I can have a new number waiting for you when you get there. Similarly, if you are en route and you realise you've left it at home, just turn up, we can get a new number for you, but please just send that back in the post, because the chips are reusable, and so we keep losing chips every time. It's going to add to our costs, so please just send that back. But don't worry, you don't have to miss the event. Also, with the chip needs to go onto your left thigh, so about sort of pocket height on the outside, on your left thigh, so it gets picked up by our timing machine. The number can go wherever you want, as long as we can see it each time, so it can go on the front, on your thigh, wherever you want to put it, but we need to be able to see it as you come through the aid station each lap, so please just bear that one in mind. You've all been instructed as to when to turn up for your events, so it's based off of your surname. Please just make sure that's your arrival time. So that is to try and prevent queuing for the toilets or for the paying machines, that sort of thing. You don't have to start in any particular order. What we'll do is, we've got a massive space where you can gather beforehand and have 10 metres around you, let alone 2 metres each. And as people gather, we'll just let people off in about 15-second gaps. If you want to run with somebody else, if you've come with somebody, just sort of stand behind each other in the queue that will naturally form, and whoever starts first can either wait for the person that's going to start second, or you can make them chase you. But it's fine to run in pairs and things, obviously socially distancing. With regards to when you start, as I've mentioned, we are very, very strongly requesting that you do not leave any belongings with us, so no drop bags. If you have to arrive by public transport, you get dropped off, then yes, you may need to leave a small bag with us. We'll have a very, very small area, but if you have driven, or you have driven with somebody, you're not allowed to leave stuff with us. It's a massive transmission risk for us, so please just help us out with this one, thank you. And obviously the bag drop isn't secure, as is always the way. It's under our gazebos, but it's not behind the stall. It's not going to be manned all the time. You will need to make sure that you practice social distancing throughout. So Cannock Chase, for those of you that haven't been there before, is a huge open place. So there's lots and lots of space. Potentially, we may have to follow a diversion, which I'll mention in a minute, and it's a little bit tighter along there. If there are points where it is tighter, or you're having to go round members of the public or dogs or horses or bikes, whatever it is, please make sure you give 2 meters distance, 2 meters space. It might ruin your splits, it might ruin your Strava, but we have to maintain social distance throughout. It is really, really important that we can show that we can do these events properly and can do them safely in a COVID secure manner, so that we can do more and more of them this year, next year and beyond. So please take that responsibility seriously. Like I say, the majority of the paths are 3-4 meters wide, nice big open woodland to be running through, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue for this route. If you do need to overtake each other or overtake members of the public, again, make sure you're giving them space to be able to carry on as they are without getting sort of in their way. And if you are going single file, don't just go right behind each other and draft each other. Give each other a little bit of space. If you, or when you're interacting with people at HQ, so myself or the other volunteers, we will be masked where we're undercover, but we're not requesting that you necessarily be masked. If you've got a buff and you want to pull it up, brilliant, that's fine. All we're asking is that every time you come in and out of the aid station, that you use the hand sanitizer that we'll have on the gazebos. Every time you interact with us, you make sure that you are over 2 meters away. There's absolutely no reason that you need to come close to us. We will just sort of be sensible, please. It's really, really important that we look after everybody who's running and who is volunteering and helping at the Big Bear event. So please just bear that one in mind. Talking of the aid station worked really, really well at Southsea. I think people were pleasantly surprised by the amount that we did actually have. So we have put pictures, or I put pictures on bigbearevents.net of the aid station, how we plan to have it, how we actually had it, and that will be what it's like again. So the idea is to prevent and to reduce the amount of preparation of food that we need to do. So there's no sandwiches, there's no Nutella wraps, there's no cutting up watermelon, unfortunately. But there'll be mini rolls, there'll be sausage rolls, there'll be little stripy bags of sweets and of nuts and of pretzels and crisps, that sort of thing. So there's plenty of food to sustain you, but it's going to be maybe slightly different to what we've done for our previous events over previous years. We will also have water, Coke, electrolyte, tea, coffee available for you. All we're going to do, the way that we're going to make this COVID secure, is that we're going to pour the vessel for you. So we'll have a jug of water, you hold your bottle, and we will pour it in for you. So it might be that we get a little bit of spillage, you might get sticky hands, well, so be it, you can wipe them down, it's not a problem. That is going to be the way that we manage that risk at our events. Again, it worked brilliantly at Southsea Forest. So there's no reason it shouldn't work well at Cannock Chase again. With the aid stations, we are asking people to sort of do a 1 in, 1 out for the tables. So if somebody's looking at food, just stand back a few meters, let them pick their food and walk away, and then you can get your food. One person will be manning the water station or the water table, so you'll just need to wait anyway. Again, just give space, queue nicely. At Southsea, I think maybe once or twice people had to wait to get to the table. Because the numbers are so reduced, it really isn't a big issue at this event. So I think that sort of covers all of the COVID elements of the event, but obviously the event is happening as well. So for those of you that haven't raced a 6-hour challenge event before, the way that it works is that you run as many laps as you want to within the 6 hours. There might be 1, it might be 12, it might be 15, whatever you want to do, and you can stop whenever you want to. All that you need to do is be back at to have left the aid station before 6 hours has elapsed. So it makes it a bit difficult with a rolling start, but it's your 6 hours. So if you started at 8:45, you need to have left the aid station by 2:44. If you started at 9:15, you need to have left the aid station at 3:14. So your finish time might be 6 hours and 20 minutes, but it's all dependent on when you leave the aid station. So it's completely up to you of how you want to do that. Currently, the route is 3.3 miles, which means that it's 4 laps for a marathon and 4 laps for a half marathon and 8 laps for a marathon. However, if we are still having to use the diversion, the lap is slightly longer at 3.6 miles. So rather than just tell you to lump it and you'll just do a bit extra for those sort of round running figures, we'll do 7 laps plus a shorter lap for the marathon and 3 laps plus a shorter lap for the half marathon. But I'll have to work all out closer to the time. Currently, I'm not sure if the diversions are going to be finished by next week or not. They're due to be finished at the end of this week, but builders. So the route itself is beautiful, very scenic, and quite a tasty hill in the middle, which I'm sure you'll work out on the first lap. It will be fully marked. You'll not be able to get lost in the forest. We'll have our high-vis yellow arrows out, and it is also following the fully way-marked 5k route that is permanently marked as well. So don't worry about having to navigate or have a map or anything like that. Just run and follow the arrows. It is a beautiful route. I would suggest that you could probably do it in road shoes if you wanted to. It's quite stony, so I wouldn't go for thin-soled shoes. And if it's been raining lots beforehand, trail is probably a better solution, in my opinion. But my trail shoes don't hurt me. I know some people only put them on as a last resort. So, I mean, it's completely up to you. On the day before, so on Monday, we'll be up marking the routes, and I'll share pictures of the course as well, so you can make your own mind up. It's probably the best way to do it. As I've said, there will be massively reduced numbers, so we'll only have 30 runners with us on the day. So normally we have 100 or 100 or so. So only having 30 runners means that you might feel like you're running on your own in a big open forest, which some of you will really, really like. And some of you, that might be a little bit unnerving. Please don't worry. At the beginning of the day, you'll start off 15 seconds apart. A couple of hours in, you'll probably be in sort of like a 2-minute window where there's nobody. The person in front is probably 2 minutes in front of you. The person behind is probably 2 minutes behind you. And so when you look around, it feels like you're completely on your own, but you're not. Right? We're still there. We'll have volunteers out or volunteer out wandering the course periodically as well. We're not going to leave you in the forest. Don't worry. But just be aware that it might be at times you feel like you're running your own. Personally, that's a good thing. But I know that some people might find that a little off-putting. So I just want to give people a little bit of a warning for that one. You only need to run past the timing system at the end of your lap. So you can go off to the toilet, go to your car, whatever you want to do, and then just carry on. You don't need to make sure somebody's clocked you in or out. Clocked you back in, only that we get you when you finish your lap. And when you have finished, unfortunately you can't ring the bell to tell us that you finished, but I will ring the bell for you, and then we will socially distance, we'll give you your medal and your beer and your flapjack socially distanced by putting it on the table. You pick it up and we disinfect the table afterwards. If you've selected trees, not teas, we'll have a list out of that as well, just to remind you. If you decide you want to get a tree instead of getting your goodies, you can tell us on the day, and vice versa as well. If you decide you want to get a medal and you said you're going to get a tree, we can switch that around. Just let us know on the day. That's not a problem. A huge thank you, as always, to our volunteers. Anne and Dave will be there on both days, and Nick will be there on both days taking photos. And we are also going to be joined by Chris and Amanda for each day as well, helping us out. Just a small team, that's all we need. When there's 30 runners, it will be a really, really good event. Once you have finished, or even during the event, if you want to, Grounds Cafe is open at the bottom of the park. They do very nice teas, very nice cakes. I've tried most of the cakes for you, just to make sure that they are all very nice, and they are. And yeah, that's about it. And just make sure, if you have COVID symptoms, a cough, fever, or loss of taste and smell, please do not come to the event. Just send us an email. Just do not come to the event. It is not worth the risk. And other than that, I will send some pictures out on the Monday when the course is being marked. But otherwise, we'll see you on Tuesday and Wednesday. No, Wednesday and Thursday, the 21st and the 22nd October. October. It says September here. 22nd and 21st of October, Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Brilliant. Thank you very much.